All You Need to Know, the Bloomberg Quint podcast that prepares you for the day's business.
Good morning. You've blinked and landed in the middle of the week. This is the All You Need to Know podcast on Bloomberg Quint, and I'm Alex Matthew. Today is the 2nd of December. Here's everything that you need to know. In the top news, it's something that should bring a smile to your face if you're convinced that there's an economic recovery that is building in India. The government's goods and services tax collection remained above the 1 lakh crore mark for the second consecutive month as consumption picked up amid the festive season. GST revenue for October collected in November stood at 1.05 lakh crore, according to a statement from the Ministry of Finance. That was largely unchanged compared with the previous month and 1.4% higher than October last year. Now, India's daily addition to coronavirus cases dropped to close to the 30,000 mark, somewhat easing fears of a second wave of infections hitting India. That takes the total number of infections to 94.6 lakh as of 8 a.m. yesterday. And in the latest news on countries taking action to prevent a resurgence of the virus, Vietnam's Prime Minister last evening ordered the country's aviation authority to halt international commercial flights after the nation reported its first local coronavirus cases in almost 3 months, according to a posting on the government's website. There's more news on the vaccine front. Pfizer and its partner BioNTech have sought regulatory clearance for their COVID-19 vaccine in the European Union, putting the shot on track for potential approval there before the end of the year. The European Medicines Agency said yesterday that it could issue an opinion within weeks, with a meeting on the assessment scheduled for the 29th of December at the latest. In international news, the European Union plans a sweeping proposal for transatlantic cooperation to US President-elect Joe Biden in a bid to repair relations soured by Donald Trump. That's a Bloomberg report that is based on the draft conclusions of a meeting of the 27 EU leaders. Airbnb and existing investors are seeking to raise as much as $2.6 billion in a long-awaited initial public offering expected to cap one of the busiest years ever for US listings. The home rental platform and some shareholders are offering 51.9 million shares at $44 to $50 a piece, according to the latest update, that is a filing that was sent yesterday to the US Securities and Exchange Commission. Now, speaking of the US markets, US stocks had a great start to the month, rising to record highs as talks about a stimulus added to optimism that was already building on account of progress made on COVID-19 vaccines. The Dow climbed 0.6%, while the S&P 500 and the Nasdaq both ended higher by over 1%. The dollar extended its slide to a more than 2-year low, and treasuries fell. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi delivered a new proposal for a stimulus package, and Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell said that he is circulating his own revised plan among Republicans. Elsewhere, oil fell the most in 2 weeks on tensions between OPEC members that I told you about yesterday. It stood at just over $47 to the barrel as of this morning. And Bitcoin retreated after almost reaching $20,000 for the first time. In the Asia-Pacific region, 2 out of the 3 early risers are trading lower, that is 0.3% lower. I'm talking about the Nikkei 225 and the Australian benchmark. The Kospi had gains of 1% in early trade. And with that, it's over to Hormuz Fatakia for the trade setup for the day in India. Good morning, Hormuz. How are we looking today?
Good morning to you, Alex, and to those tuning in. It was business as usual for the equity markets after a 3-day holiday. Both Nifty and Sensex opened, hit a record high, and closed at a record high as well. The relative strength index, or the RSI of the Nifty, is back above the mark of 70, which is overbought territory. The mid-cap index ended at the highest since August of 2018. The small-cap index ended at the highest since May 2019, while the auto index ended close to a 2-year high. And speaking of the auto index, let me first run you through the auto sales numbers for November that were reported after closing of trade on Tuesday. First, Hero MotoCorp reported a 14% jump in overall sales. Exports were the key contributors, rising 40% from last year to over 15,000 units. Tata Motors reported a 21% rise in overall sales to close to 50,000 units. Passenger vehicle sales fell 8%, while commercial vehicle sales were nearly flat year on year. Some other specific stocks: Phoenix Mills has signed a non-binding term sheet with an affiliate of GIC to create a strategic retail-led mixed-use platform. GIC will initially acquire a 26% stake, and both parties may mutually agree to raise that stake up to 35% within a 12-month period from the closing of the said transaction. Phoenix Mills says that the proceeds from this proposed transaction will be utilized as growth capital for further expansion and acquisition of greenfield, brownfield, operational and distressed mall opportunities. UPL says that the District Court of Delaware has substantially reduced the October 2019 jury verdict of $31 million with regards to an intellectual property litigation to $13 million. UPL says that it had already made full provisions of the $31 million award in FY20, so watch out for the reaction in that stock. Coal India reported an 8% growth in offtake for the month of November. Production saw a rise of 3%. On a year-to-date basis, the offtake still remains lower by 2%, while production is up 1.2%. A drop in gold prices has helped retain buying interest for customers even after the festive season, according to Titan's jewelry division CEO Ajoy Chawla. Chawla said that sales in the lower price band of that below 50,000 rupees remain sluggish, while that of 1 lakh rupees and above are doing well. The company has also launched a new plan where customers can enroll in a monthly purchase plan that offers better value for money as compared to spot purchases. Dr. Reddy's and the Russian Direct Investment Fund have commenced adaptive phase 2 and 3 clinical trials for the Sputnik V vaccine in India. This after it received the necessary clearance from the Central Drugs Laboratory in Kasauli. A couple of stocks on the back of brokerages. Investec has upgraded Oberoi Realty to buy from hold and has raised its price target to 590 rupees from the earlier 406. Also, Dolat Capital has initiated coverage on Sudarshan Chemicals with a buy rating and a price target of 551 rupees a share, which is a 16% upside from current levels. Some buzzing stocks from Tuesday's session. Prestige Estates was the top performer on the mid-cap index, ending with gains of close to 9% and at the highest level since March. Tata Power continues to make new highs. The stock gained for the 6th straight day, ending at the highest level since July of 2019. It has now gained close to 20% in the last 6 trading sessions. And watch out for telecom stocks today, as both Bharti Airtel and Vodafone Idea ended over 3% higher on Tuesday. Keep a watch on Bharti Infratel as well. Early ticks on the SGX Nifty showed that the index was flat around the mark of 13,150. Do log into BloombergQuint.com for all the live market action and also to read up on the All You Need to Know copy. And with that, I wish you a safe day ahead, and it's back to you, Alex.
Thanks, Hormuz, and as always, thank you all for listening in. That's all we have for you on this podcast, but as always, there's a lot on the website that you should check out before trade actually starts. You'll find that on BloombergQuint.com. Thanks so much for listening. This is Alex Matthews signing off. Have a great day.
I hope you enjoyed listening to All You Need to Know. Did you know that you could listen to the show on the IVM Podcast app? On the IVM Podcast app, along with this, we have a number of other shows which you think you'll enjoy. Listen to Cyrus Says with Cyrus Brocha as the host. Listen to Pesa Vesa with Anupam Gupta. The Scene and the Unseen with Amit Verma, or Shunya One hosted by Shiladitya Mukhopadhyay and myself. Check out the IVM Podcast app to get more talk content that you will enjoy.